Refugees, when they flee the home where they're from, they lose a number of things. They lose a sense of community that they once had. Like they lived on streets with neighbors, and those neighbors are now in other countries or maybe not even alive. They lose closeness very often to family, like grandma and grandpa maybe weren't able to flee or are somewhere else in the world. They lose jobs that they had. They lose the usefulness of certain skills. You know, the way they cooked or the way they drove or what kind of housing they lived in. All the skills that they learned while growing up to live in that type of environment are now not as applicable. Losing my citizenship is a very dehumanizing process because it's not something I choose. It's something that somebody more powerful than I chooses. And that's almost always connected to some kind of violence. These people just don't belong anywhere. They're here in this country, they can live in this country, but they can't be citizens, and returning home is just really not a possibility. Very often the places that they fled from are still hostile to them, or many of them they fled so long ago they just don't have a home there anymore. Like if somebody lived in a refugee camp for 25, 27 years, the home they fled from all those years ago just doesn't exist. Well, Christians today, in response to the global refugee crisis, I think first of all should be asking two questions. One is, what is God doing? There's currently right now over 65 million people displaced from their country of origin. That's something that He's using that way in some way to get glory for Himself and to establish His kingdom here on the earth. So we need to first of all ask ourselves, what's God doing with this here? And I think the second question that the church and Christians need to ask is, where really is our citizenship? What kingdom am I a citizen of? Am I first and foremost, should I be thinking of America, or should I be thinking of, I'm a part of a kingdom that's eternal, that God is, He's really ahead of. God is bringing our brothers and sisters in the faith here, and we have a chance to welcome them and care for our brothers and sisters. But we also have opportunity to interact with people that God is bringing to us that are of different faiths, that we can share the gospel with and share our lives with and become a part of what God's doing globally right here.